Well, hello. It is another day to read, another good day to be a reader. And this is Mr. Wells with your lit lesson for today. Today, we're going to be talking about the third signpost. If you remember, we've been talking about close reading, which is reading something to really analyze, learn something, think about it. And then we have been talking about signposts, which are clues that the author of a book gives you to find out something about the meaning of that book. Okay, so uh, we've been looking at signposts. We're on the third today. The first one we looked at, if you'll remember, was contrast and contradictions. Contrast and contradictions are when the character says or does something that you don't expect. The character says or does something that you don't expect. And anytime you see that, you want to stop and ask yourself why. Why is the character behaving this way? Okay, and it can give you some clue, maybe even to the theme of the story or something like that. And then the second signpost that we talked about were aha moments. Aha moments is when the character realizes something that he or she has never thought of before. The character realizes something that he or she has never thought of before, and that is an aha moment. And when you see an aha moment, whenever you see an aha moment, you want to stop and you want to ask the question, how? How might this change things? And that could tell you something about the plot of the story and maybe how things might turn out in the story at the end. But that's the aha moment. All right, so today we're going to look at the third signpost, and there are 6 signposts, and I just want to mention, just so you know, just so you're aware, that when we're come to the end of this unit, we're going to have an opportunity for you to share what you've learned. Okay, and that opportunity, which we call a test, is it's going to be two-part. Part of it's going to be multiple choice, where you're going to have to know the signposts, and part of it is going to be written, where you're actually reading a story and you're identifying all 6 signposts in the story. So all 6 signposts are going to be on this test, and so I want you to know these things, and you need to make sure that you have an understanding of what these things are and how they can help you become a better reader. So today, the third signpost that we're looking at is tough questions. Tough questions. Now I'm going to attach here a map of North Africa. And on this map of North Africa, just for you to look at, there's nothing really to do it other than I started in the in-class portion with a trivia question. What is the newest country on Earth? And the answer to that is South Sudan. And you can see South Sudan on that map of North Africa. It's just south of Sudan, as you might expect. But it used to be part of the country of Sudan, and for over 30 years they had a civil war in Sudan, and the people could not get along with each other, north and south, for a lot of various reasons. And then finally the UN came in and just said, we're splitting the country up, and now South Sudan is going to have its own country. But we're going to be looking at a story today that takes place during this war that happened in Sudan, and it takes place in 1985. But this war continued all the way till about 2011, and there have still been some issues since then too. Okay, so this is not a long time ago. Okay, this is something that happens in the present day, and this is a true story about an 11-year-old boy. His name is Salva, and in the story, he gets banished from his village. Everybody in the village is driven out or killed by an opposing army. So we're going to read about that in a couple minutes. But one of the things that Salva is going to face in the story are what we call tough questions. That's the third signpost. So on your notes somewhere in your paper, I want you to write down tough questions. Tough questions. And I'll give you the definition. A tough question is when the character asks himself a difficult question. A tough question is when the character asks himself a difficult question. And when that happens, you want to stop and you want to ask yourself a question. And that question is what? What does this make me wonder about? What does this make me wonder about? Okay, so when we're looking at that question, um, I want you to think about this, because in the story you're going to see many questions. There's going to be times when there's a question mark, but not all questions are tough questions. Some questions are easy questions. They have a yes or no answer. They have an answer that you know immediately. What am I going to have for breakfast this morning? Well, once you decide that, it's easy to answer. It's not a tough question. I wonder what we're having for lunch today. Easy, typically an easy question. Do I feel like doing my schoolwork today? Okay, it's going to be yes or no. All right, easy question. On the other hand, there are tough questions, really difficult questions. It's one thing to say, what am I going to have for breakfast today? It's another thing to say, we've got no food in the house. What am I going to eat? Well, if you don't have any food, then that might be a difficult question. Or another difficult question is, does she still love me? If you were in a relationship, you might want to know the answer to that question, but it might not be an easy answer. All right, so you see questions like that. Those are tough questions. Those are difficult questions. And you see that, you ask yourself, well, what does it make you wonder about? Now, when you're doing this, I don't want you to take the easy way out. Because some of you are going to say, well, I wonder where he's going to get the food. Okay? Or I wonder if she still loves him. Okay, that's easy. We know that's a question. If I say, does she still love me? And you say, well, I wonder if she still loves him. But I want you to think even more. Okay, I want you to think, how about this? Who are these two? Are they husband and wife? Are they son and daughter? What is their relationship? Did they get into an argument? Why does he worry about whether or not she loves him? Okay, same is true with we don't have any food in the house. What am I going to eat today? Why is there no food in the house? If this is a child, where are the parents? Do they not have enough money? Will he starve to death? Will something else happen? Okay, those are all questions that we could ask, and a lot of times the question tells us something about the conflict in the story. What happens with the conflict in the story. Okay, so go ahead and you can read this. I'm attaching this. This is A Long Walk to Water by Linda Sue Parker, just some excerpts from the book. And again, remember, this boy has had to flee from his village because of the war. And as a matter of fact, this 11-year-old boy is now separated from his parents. He doesn't know where his parents are. Okay, so let's start reading it together. Salva lowered his head and ran. Wait a minute. Remember, when we're reading this, we're trying to pay close attention, and we're looking for tough questions. Tough questions is when the character asks himself a difficult question. All right. He ran until he could not run anymore. Then he walked for hours until the sun was nearly gone from the sky. Other people were walking too. There were so many of them that they couldn't all be from the school village. They must have come from the whole area. As Salva walked, the same thoughts kept going through his head in rhythm with his steps. Where are we going? Where is my family? When will I see them again? So what are the tough questions here? Well, in this case, the author, she just hands them to you on a silver platter. She just gives them right there to you, because at the end of this section, they've got 3 questions there, and they're all in italics. And those are your tough questions. Where are we going? Where is my family? When will I see them again? And I want you to know that it really depends on the situation here. If you think about it, if on Saturday I've got my kids with me and I say to my son, go get in the minivan. We're all leaving. He might say, where are we going? Well, that's an easy question. All right, because I could say, well, you're going to grandma's house. So, well, where's the rest of the family? Well, they're getting ready. They'll be out here any minute. Says, well, when will I see everybody again? Well, you're going to stay the night, a couple nights at your grandma's house, and she's going to bring you back before your ball game. All those are easy questions to answer, but the situation that they're in makes them harder. In this case, this kid is lost. He doesn't know where his family is. So his questions become difficult questions, tough questions. Where are we going? Where's my family? When will I see them again? Okay, you're going to combine all those because those questions all go right together. You don't need to make 3 entries on your log here, but you're going to put the location. Okay, you're going to put the location, and the location is what is it? Page 1, section 1, fourth paragraph. Okay, page 1, section 1, fourth paragraph. Signpost that you noticed is tough questions. Tough questions. Now, you can use the abbreviation. The abbreviation is exclamation mark, 2 exclamation marks. But I got to tell you, I'm a little worried because some of you are mixing up some of the signposts. Now that we have more than one signpost and we're on the 3rd signpost, some of you have been mixing them up. And so I want to just make sure you know what these signposts are. Okay? So signpost, tough question, and my notes about it. You're going to write the notes in your own word. But here you're going to say something like, you're going to write the question, where are we going? Where's my family? When will I see them? And maybe put something that you wondered about. Like, will he ever see his family again? Are they living? Are they dead? What's going on? Okay. So let's move on to the second part of the story here. This comes from a different part of the novel. And in the second section, he's been alone by himself for a while, and he comes up on another group of people who are also survivors. They've also fled their village. It says this: there were now 3 women giving water to the men on the ground. Like a miracle, the small amounts of water revived them. They were able to stagger to their feet and join the group as the walking continued. But their 5 dead companions were left behind. There were no tools with which to dig, and besides, burying the dead men would have taken too much time. Salva tried not to look as he walked past the bodies, but his eyes were drawn in their direction. He knew what would happen. Vultures would find the bodies and strip them of their rotting flesh until only the bones remained. He felt sick at the thought of those men, first dying in such a horrible way, and then having even their corpses ravaged. If he were older and stronger, would he have given water to those men, or would he, like most of the group, have kept his water for himself? It was the group's 3rd day in the desert. By sunset, they would be out of the desert, and after that, it would not be far to the Itang refugee camp in Ethiopia. Okay, I want you to write down on your notice and note log here what the tough question here is, and I'll give you a little bit to do that. Actually, I'm not really going to give you any time. You're just going to pause the video. So that's what videos are for. If you have to reread it, go ahead and reread it. Okay, so what you probably said was, or should have said, was something like, if he were older and stronger, would he have given water to those men? Or would he, like most of the group, have kept his water for himself? Okay, what is that? That's page 1, second section, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th paragraph. Okay, so you'll put that on your location here, on your notice and note log, your signpost. What are we doing today? Tough questions. Tough questions. When the character asks himself a difficult question. And put your notes about it. The note, you can put the question in here. Again, there's 2 questions, but they kind of go together. Would he have given water to those men? Or would he have kept the water for himself? What does it make you wonder about? Well, you could say, well, would he have kept the water for himself? But beyond that, what about you and me? What would we have done in that situation? Would you have given someone else your water or shared your water with someone else? What happened? How do you make the decision who dies and who lives? These are all questions that could come up, could arise, because this is a really tough question. Is one life worth more than another? And there's a lot of things you could think about in regard to that. Okay, so you want to make the note of that for your second here on the log. Let's go to the last section. 3rd section is on the back page. I guess the second page, maybe for you. Maybe I don't remember on the PDF version. I don't remember how it's set up. Third section. I am alone now. I am all that is left of my family. His father, who had sent Salva to school, brought him treats like mangoes, trusted him to take care of the herd. His mother, always ready with food and milk and a soft hand to stroke Salva's head. His brothers and sisters, whom he had laughed with and played with and looked after. He would never see them again. How can I go on without them? But how can I not go on? They would want me to survive, to grow up and make something of my life, to honor their memories. All right, so what are the tough questions here? Okay, you should have said, there's two of them. They go together. We can put them on the same log entry. How can I go on without them? How could I not go on? Okay, so I want you to put that location, and I want you to put the signpost notes, and then in your own words, I want you to make some notes about it. Put, you can write what it is, but then tell me, what does it make you wonder about? What does it make you wonder about? Quiet on the set, Torres. All right, so that's the story, okay? And that's what a tough question is. A tough question is when the character when the character asks himself a really difficult question. And when you see that, you want to stop and you want to ask, what does this make me wonder about? Okay, so you're going to have that filled out, the three that we have done here. And then the second part of your assignment, which I've attached to this, is reading a story on your own. This is a story called Half and Half. And the situation, I think, will speak for itself as to why the story is called that. But you're just reading the first chapter of the book. When you see the document, you'll see some things on there, like some questions at the end of the PDF. Don't answer those. I don't want you to answer those. I want you to just look for tough questions. And you should be able to find at least 2 tough questions in that. I want you to put them on your notice and note log, and that'll be part of your assignment for this week. Okay? So you should have this filled out already from this video with 3 that we went over here. And then when you do half and half on your own, you're going to have 2 more tough questions. All right. So there you have it. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you spend some good time reading. Thanks. Talk to you later. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit like, and turn on your notifications so you can see me and all my cool videos all the time, at any time of the day. All right. Peace out.
I was hoping that fly over there, but